folks, it's Jonathan here. I'm back and we're working on the Flathead Cadillac some more, and got us a plate made for the exhaust, and I made that out of 5/16. I don't want anything to warp or have problems with it, so I don't have a gasket on it, but the surfaces are pretty good. I haven't started it yet. We're going to see what it sounds like with just having dual exhaust now. Let's see what happens. Alright, I feel like we got a little lifter tap. Not bad. Okay, I wanted to explain a couple things about this Flathead, because I got to thinking about it after seeing everybody talking about how they done a goofy exhaust system. I realized that not everybody knows why they done this, and totally makes sense. So first, what I'd like to say is, when it comes to the firing order, you know, this is 1357 down this side, 2468 down that side, just like a Chevrolet. And you can always tell number one cylinder because the head's a little bit farther forward on one side than the other. So number one would be the first piston. So we got that. Firing order, it's clockwise rotation like a Chevrolet. Chevrolet firing order is 18436572. This one's 18736542. So they've only swapped the 7 and the 4. Don't know why, but that's just the way it is. Okay, now the other reason, and the reason that they have the exhaust pipes up at the top. Now, I had a friend come by, and he'd never seen one of these engines before, and something he said was kind of funny. Flathead, our first V8 engine he ever seen that ate and crapped at the same side, and it was kind of funny, but yeah, it's true. Fuel goes in, exhaust comes out, same side. But there's a reason for that, and it's a good reason for that. And Cadillac was not the only ones to do it. Pierce Arrow done it. My V12 Seagrave engine had it, and which was a Pierce Arrow design, and there was a good reason for it, and I'm going to explain this to you, and that way everybody will understand it, totally get it. Flathead engine, you've got an exhaust valve here and an intake valve here, which is on the upper side of the engine. The pistons are down here. Okay, same way with a Ford Flathead. So if your fuel and air mixture is coming in this valve, the intake valve, and coming around, it's firing, and then it's coming out this exhaust valve here, coming into this port, it's coming in and out pretty quick. If you was in a Ford, you would be coming down a port all the way down in the block and coming out down here. That exhaust staying inside that head that much longer, or that cylinder actually, that much longer, because it's below the head, but it was would make overheating issues. That's one of the reasons Ford had overheating issues, is because the exhaust stayed in the block so long and came down to come out the bottom of the block instead of the top. Now, every Cadillac engine I've seen in these hot rods that ran exhaust looked goofy. Unfortunately, that's just part of it. Even the ones that people had built headers for, 3 pipes coming across. I didn't want that because I want the head to be open. I wanted to run the original style manifolds because they're ceramic coated. People don't see that very often. I thought it was neat, and you know, it's a little different, but no matter what you do, it's going to be different. I looked at all the pictures I could find of a Cadillac Flathead engine in a hot rod, and none of them looked decent. None of them looked like it was supposed to be, because the exhaust is just in a weird spot. But I think it was a subscriber that I was talking to one time, and he told me that him and I think his dad raced either Buick or Oldsmobile engines years and years back, and it might have been Oldsmobile, but anyway, they raced against a lot of Flathead V8s. And you know, when you race against something, you're always going to have issues with it. You know, the Ford and Chevrolet issue, or the John Deere and International Tractor issue, where one likes one better than the other. This just, you know, the way it's going to be. But the guy told me that his dad always said that they was racing one time, and one of the Fords ran off the track and into the pond, and actually it was running so hot that it boiled all the water out of the pond. So anyway, that's the issue with the Flatheads. Exhaust was probably a little hot on them feet, but that's the reason that they've got them up like that. I like it. I think it's, you know, different and neat, and you know, a lot of people will see this engine and, you know, at a cruise in or something like that and have no clue what it is, and that's part of the deal. So anyway, we got a lot more to do, and I think the main thing with this engine is it needs run. It really needs taken out and done something with. It was a long time since this thing had been ran or on the road, and I don't know how many years, but if I was a guessing man, you know, even looking at these belts that was on it, I mean, it had to be 40, 50 years since it had been, you know, anything done with it. And then of course, like I said, we only had one stuck valve, and so I think running it and getting it up to temperature is going to do it, you know, do it good. And we'll keep at it. We're going to try to keep getting all the other stuff done, and then we'll worry about what we're going to do on the exhaust. But, all right, let me get back at it, and I'll show you more. Okay, folks, so what have we got done, and where are we at? Don't know. Let me see. Oh, I got the plate made for the fuel pump. I just made one, put on it. What else? Fuel line. I've got it ran. I got it ran all the way down and hooked into the original line, and now we're going to go in and put a fuel pump on the frame. Now the tank gravity feeds down to the frame, so the pump really, we could actually mount it up here because it'll gravity feed all the way up to here, but we're not. I want to hide it because I don't like the looks of it. Let me see. I'm trying to get an alternator together. I want to do the machine, whatever I got to do to put the big pulley on the alternator instead of a generator right here. I pulled one off an S10. It's not the small one, the really small one, but we tried it. It's too big. I've got to find one, a mini one, and I've got to get some vacuum line block offs and stuff for the carburetor. Probably just going to run the single for now. And let me see. Guess what we're working on now. I had to go hunt up a nut for the bottom of the cross member. The bolt for the actual mount, it's metric, and I don't keep much metric stuff at all, so we got that done. And like I said, here's the Holly fuel pump, and it has a inline filter on it, and this is going to mount to the frame right here, and then we're going to cut this fuel line and run it right in this line. The problem is like I said, it's gravity feed, so if I cut the line, I'm going to have to block it off pretty quick to keep from losing the gas out of it, and then we'll go from there. But we'll get her mounted and get her on there, and then that'll be one less thing, and then run the wires up, and we should be able to go ahead and get the floorboard in. That should be the last thing I need to do here. But I want to make sure everything's done. I don't want to be climbing up under it. That was the whole reason of building it like this. So anyway, let me get the fuel pump mounted on. We'll go from there. Okay, folks, floor is back in. This part of it. Still got another panel to put back in over there. We ended up, looks like we went forward with the transmission about 1/4 of an inch, maybe a little bit less than 1/4 of an inch, but that wasn't enough to affect our drive shaft. So we're good to go. Floor fit back in. I still got to do something with the pedal, and then I've got to finish wiring up some stuff and straighten out all my wires. But anyway, but the floor is in and it fit good, so no issues there. Okay, so we've got the throttle done. The throttle linkage, it comes back and then curves over and comes back, and then I got my bell crank I bolted on in a different way. So we've got the rod coming from the inside and this coming down. Now this pushes instead of pulls. When you hit the pedal, it pulls this in and pushes on the carburetor. Works just fine. We got a good spring on it. revving good and fast. I'm going to go ahead and try to get the tack hooked up. I've got the green wire on the tack. I just don't have the power and the ground on it. So we'll get that done, and then we will see what we can do. We'll fire it up and see how it sounds. I'm going to have to get a copper oil pressure line to hook up because of the way I've got to flare it. So I'm going to wait on that. And like I said, I got to get some vacuum block offs for this carburetor. And we'll get our air cleaner on. And let me see. We're getting there on all this now. We're going to be waiting, I'm sure, on radiator and grill, but we've got plenty of other stuff to do. I want to get the headlights mounted. I've got to fix the water pump yet, get it on, and just a lot of little things. The fan, I'm going to have to rebush. As you can see, it's rusty, and I'm going to sandblast it and all that, but the bushing in this fan is not, it's not terrible, but it's not the best in the world, that's for sure. So we're going to be rebushing that. Trying to figure out why there's no grease fitting or anything on it. I don't think them are bearings, I don't know. Yeah, it's definitely going to be replaced. So we're going to do whatever we got to do to fix that. And so I really don't want to run an electric fan. And let me see, that's about it. Let me get the tack hooked up and then we'll start her up again and just see how it does. Alright folks, so here we are. It's getting dark. I'm about through with everything I can do, and we're going to actually fire it up here and see what it does. Now this is a 10,000 RPM tack. This thing probably only going to turn about 3,000 RPM, maybe a little more if you wound it out, but so it's not going to work very good on this application, but we'll probably find another old tack to put in here instead of this one, but this is what's in here for now, so we'll try it out. Alright, there's idling about 750. Revs up fast, I like that. Alright. Alright folks, so we got plenty to do, but that's where we're at so far. Get back on it tomorrow, I guess. Things have been pretty slow around here. We haven't had any too many breakdowns. It's been mainly, you know, we've still had some wrecks, but that's about it. And you know, honestly right now, the least amount of calls I get, the happier I am. And I'll just stay right here and work on this, but you know, still got to work and make a living. So my son is actually, he had to go out of town to get something, and while he was out, there was an engine for sale in the same, you know, right near about 30 miles from where he was going. And you know, I can't help myself. You know, I'm addicted to old engines. So we've got another engine coming with a transmission behind it, and we'll probably try to do a first start on another old one. We're going to just take a chance on, but it's cheap and, you know, well worth the time and trouble to mess with. And you know, it'll be, some of you will have seen an engine like it before, and it'll be a new one on, you know, on some of you, but stay tuned for that. We've got a heater hose, which I don't know if I'm going to put a heater in here or not. I don't need to, but you never know. So we may do something there. And I've got some machining to do on the water pump. We'll probably do it tomorrow. So maybe we can get another video together for tomorrow, but you know, this stuff here is not, you know, a lot of it's not worth really filming, but I know how it is that, you know, a lot of you stuck in the house and nothing to do. So, you know, if I can fill in 10-15 minutes of that time for you, you know, I hope I can help anyway. All right, appreciate everybody watching, and until next time, bye. Oh, another thing too, we're going to go ahead and pick this up, take this down, and we're either going to put this Ford transmission behind it, or we're going to do the S10 transmission, or we're going to do the Camaro transmission. We're going to do one of them, and I've got everything to do it. I've got clutch plates and stuff, so you know, we're not going to have to order or buy anything. So we're going to get this thing apart here, and I'm going to show you step by step how to put a 5-speed behind a straight 8 Buick for anybody that might want to do it someday. All right.